Hi students, so in the last class we have discussed what is an electrophile, what is a nucleophile. So now in this class we will try to discuss about nucleophilicity and what is the basic difference between nucleophile and a base. So here first we will start with what is the basic difference between nucleophile and a base. So here nucleophile means which attacks electron deficient atoms like carbon. So which attacks electron deficient atoms like carbon, so they don't attack H plus. Okay, so now what is a base? So base attacks H plus. Okay, so that is the basic difference between the nucleophile and a base. For example, here if I write an example, nucleophile and next carbon that is having any halogen. So here I am taking CH3. So nucleophile that attacks electron deficient atoms like carbon. For example, here halogen I am taking, so it contains slightly negative charge, carbon contains slightly positive charge. So that is how the nucleophilic attack takes place. For example, if I am taking base, for example here okay, so it contains some hydrogens. So if I am taking base, for example OH minus, okay, so OH minus will attack, or it will grab this hydrogen and converts into H2O. So these bonding electrons will become the pi bond in between two carbon atoms, and this bromine leaves from the substrate. So this is the leaving group. So now how it will looks like after elimination or after removing this bromine, so it will form double bond in between two carbon atoms. So that is the basic difference between the nucleophile and the base. Okay, and next, so nucleophilicity, so ability to donate the electrons. So now the nucleophilicity, before discussing about nucleophilicity, just try to understand this methoxide and methyl alcohol. So which is more nucleophilic? So oxygen is having negative charge, oxygen is having lone pair. So is oxygen having negative charge, that is more nucleophilic than oxygen that is having lone pair. Okay, so next, nucleophilicity that depends upon electronegativity also. For example, here I am taking CH2 minus, OH minus, F minus. So among all, which is more electronegative? Fluorine. So more electronegative, less nucleophilic. So less tendency to donate that electrons here. So because negative charge is more stable with the highly electronegative atom, here negative charge is less stable with this carbon, less electronegative atom. So here nucleophilic character will be more. So here CH2 minus is more nucleophilic than NH2 minus and all. So now what is more basic among all this? So again basic also, CH2 minus is more basic because negative charge on carbon is less stable because carbon is less electronegative. So that is why that is more basic. And next, if I am taking hydrates of 15th group, all are having lone pair of electrons, which is more basic. All we know that nitrogen smaller atom is having a lone pair, more electron density. So here more electron density, so here nitrogen is more basic. So now which is more nucleophilic among all this? So here nucleophilic order will just reverse, because as from top to bottom in a group, size increases, nucleophilicity also increases. Size increases, nucleophilicity also increases. So that is how the nucleophilicity that depends depending upon the electronegativity. So next, so if we check some other factors, for example here I have taken F minus, Cl minus, Br minus and I minus. Okay, so now fluorine is having tendency to form the hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen bonding will be formed in between a highly electronegative element and a hydrogen. So here iodine is having less electronegative, so tendency to form a hydrogen bond to iodine is very less. So here if we are taking a solvent like polar protic, so polar protic solvent that contains hydrogen, so more electronegative atom like fluorine that forms the hydrogen bonds in between with the solvent. So here as it is forming hydrogen bonding, the negative charge on the fluorine decreases, so nucleophilicity decreases. So here A will be having less nucleophilic than B, than C, than D. So here iodide is more nucleophilic in the case of polar protic solvent. Okay, because iodide cannot form hydrogen bonding, so iodide ion is free. Here we can write like this: iodide is free, so nucleophilicity is more. So nucleophilicity is more. So now in the case of polar aprotic, so if you are taking polar aprotic, what happens here? So polar aprotic doesn't contains any protons or any hydrogens. So here as it doesn't contains any hydrogens, A will be having more nucleophilic than B, than C, than D. Okay, so that is how the same atoms that changes its nucleophilicity in the presence of different solvents. Okay, and next, nucleophilicity also depends on steric hindrance. So nucleophilicity inversely proportional to steric hindrance, because any nucleophile either it want to add or it want to substitute with the carbon, means it want to make new bond with the carbon. So here as size of this nucleophile increases more, so it cannot make bond with the carbon. So that is why, so more size, less nucleophilic, we can say more size means less nucleophilic. More steric hindrance means less nucleophilic. Okay, here to explain this, I am taking example CH3O minus and tertiary butoxide. So now here it is less bulky ion, it is a bulky base. As it is a bulky, more steric hindrance, it is having less nucleophilic when compared to this. So here when we check the nucleophilicity, so which is more nucleophilic? A is greater than B, but which is more basic? B is greater than A. So bulky bases, we can write like this: bulky bases always acts as only base. No, it doesn't act as a nucleophile. So tertiary butoxide is one of the example. So it always acts as a base, not as a nucleophile. Okay, earlier we said base that grabs hydrogen. It doesn't attack with the carbon, it only grabs hydrogen. So that is how the nucleophilicity that depends on the steric endurance. So here now for example, if I take CH3OH, H2O and ethyl alcohol, and next here CH3O minus, by removing one hydrogen I am writing this. So now among this both methoxide and methanol, so which is a strong base? This is a strong base, and this we can write it as a weak base. And next, which is strong nucleophile? Methoxide is a strong nucleophile and methanol is a weak nucleophile. So that is how charged species are more strong than neutral. So these are charged and these are neutral. So here we can write Cn minus also. That is also a strong nucleophile or strong base. And next, which are acting only as a base? So just now we have written tertiary butoxide that acts only as a base because it is a bulky base. And next, hydride that also only acts as a base, it doesn't attach with any carbon. And next, deviant, this also acts only as a base. And next, which acts as only nucleophiles? Okay, so here we can write chloride, bromide, iodide. Okay. All these only acts as a nucleophiles. These all doesn't act as a bases. Okay, so these cannot grab hydrogen. So here charged like CH3O minus, they can act as a strong nucleophile and a strong base. So here CH3OH methanol, it can act as a nucleophile and a base, but it is a weak nucleophile. Okay, so from the knowledge what we are having about nucleophilicity, so we can classify the nucleophiles like this for our better understanding. And next, after nucleophilicity, so let's discuss about solvent. Okay, so there are different types of solvents. Here first we can write non-polar solvent, and next polar solvent. So in that polar solvent we can write polar protic and polar aprotic. Okay, now here in the case of non-polar solvents, so non-polar means polarity is 0, means here you can say dipole moment is 0, but here in this polar protic dipole moment is not 0. Okay, so dipole moment is 0 means what we can say, no hydrogen bonding. So here what you can say, hydrogen bond will form. And next one thing, so non-polar means here, so we can write examples like benzene, toluene, like that. Okay, so here we can write examples like polar protic solvent. Earlier we have written, so just now we have written, so you can write H2O, CH3OH, next ethyl alcohol. Next, in the case of polar aprotic, okay, polar aprotic means what we can write, these are polar but no hydrogen is connected with the highly electronegative element. So here carbon is getting slightly positive, oxygen is getting slightly negative, but here we can observe that no hydrogen is attached to highly electronegative atom. Okay, next, by replacing this carbon with sulfur, if we write it is dimethyl sulfoxide. Okay, and next we can write here NN dimethyl formamide. So this is also a polar aprotic solvent, and next here you can write like this also, CH3Cl. So this is also a polar aprotic solvent. All these are polar, but they don't have any hydrogen attached to highly electronegative element. Means here oxygen doesn't having any hydrogen. Okay, polar aprotic means hydrogen attached to highly electronegative atom, so that it will release into the solution. Okay, so non-polar means they don't have any polarity. So now if we have taken any nucleophile, so just earlier we have discussed this F minus. So in the case of polar protic, what happens? So for example, here in the case of water is having hydrogen, so slightly positive charge on hydrogen, negative charge on oxygen. So here this positive charge hydrogen that can form hydrogen bond with the fluorine. Okay, so because of this, so from all sides fluorine will be trapped with hydrogens. So that is why the nucleophilicity of fluoride decreases in the case of polar protic solvent. In the case of a polar aprotic solvent like acetone, so here also positive charge is there, but this positive charge is shielded by two methyl groups. So here positive charge is outside of the molecule, but here the positive charge is inside of the molecule. These polar aprotic solvent are polar enough to so that the nucleophiles will dissolve, but here no hydrogen bond is formed. Okay, so that is why here F minus is free, so nucleophilicity of F minus will be more. Okay, so that is how the nucleophilicity of fluoride changed in polar protic and polar aprotic. Okay, next we will discuss about addition reactions. So here there are different types of reactions. For example, in addition reactions we are having electrophilic addition, nucleophilic addition, and free radical addition. Okay, first we will check about electrophilic additions. Now by looking at the substrate, we can try to identify what type of reactions will carry out. For example, here I am taking C double bond C. So here double bond pi electron density is there, so it is already having electron density, so it can donate this electron density. So to whom it can donate? To electrophile. So here electrophilic addition reactions will take place. So now in the case of alkyl halide like this, carbon is having positive charge, halide is having negative charge. So here nucleophilic substitutions will takes place or elimination reactions will takes place. Okay, so either substitution like SN1 SN2 or you can say eliminations. So based on the substrate only we can try to identify what type of reactions will carry out. So here first we will discuss about electrophilic addition reactions. So here in these electrophilic addition reactions we will take propane in the presence of HBr and CCl4. Okay, so here what happens, CCl4 is a non-polar solvent. So here HBr bond will be breaking because of this substrate, not because of this solvent. Okay, for example here if we plus HBr, so this double bond will shift on to the carbon and next this hydrogen will attach to this carbon. So this is this will be forming CH3CH CH3 positive charge on the carbon. And next one more method and one more possibility, positive charge may be on the first carbon. Okay, the double bond will shift on to this carbon and next hydrogen will attach to this carbon. So here positive charge will be on the first carbon. So here this is a secondary carbon and this is a primary carbon. Which is more stable? Secondary is more stable than primary. So here in the presence of Br minus, so here the type of okay 2-bromopropane will form here. So here bromine will be attached at first carbon. Okay, so here secondary carbocation is more stable than primary carbocation. So among these two, whose rate will be more? So here I can say A and B. So whose rate will be more? Rate will be more to A than B, because here in the case of A more stable carbocation is formed. So now one more thing here we have to observe is carbocation hybridization is sp2 planar. Okay, for example here I am writing like this, CH3C plus H again CH3. So this is sp3 hybridized carbon, planar carbon. So here whatever be the Br minus is coming, okay, it can attack this carbon from front side or from back side or top side or from bottom. So here racemic mixture will form. Okay, because as the carbocation is planar, the bromide can attack from top or bottom, so that racemic mixture will form. Okay, next we will discuss about nucleophilic addition. So here nucleophile will add. So nucleophile will add means, so to which site it will add? Electron deficient site, like here C double bond O. So here carbon will be having slightly positive, oxygen will be having slightly negative. So on to this carbon nucleophile will add. Okay, on to that carbon nucleophile will add. So here, so what about the hybridization of C double bond O? 3 sigma bonds, hybridization is sp2 and it is planar. Okay, now I am trying to represent this is the carbon double bonded with oxygen, and this is hydrogen towards above the plane or towards front. So this is the alkyl group back side. So now nucleophilic addition. So this is the nucleophile I am taking, so that is going to attack on this carbon. So when nucleophile attack, so this double bond will shift on to oxygen as a negative charge. So here what we can write, carbon nucleophile is attached, single bond oxygen negative charge, and next hydrogen is attached. Okay, and next on H plus, what happens? From the above nucleophile is attached, and next O minus converts into OH. Towards the front we are having hydrogen, we are having alkyl group. Okay. And next, by using some substrate like CH3C double bond OH, okay, HCN. So from this HCN, what nucleophile we will get? Cn minus. So just now we have written Cn minus is a strong nucleophile that will attack on this carbon. So here CH3CO minus H Cn, and next by using H plus it can be converted into OH H Cn, and next on hydrolysis, so that cyanide group can be converted into OH. So here I am writing CH3COH COOH. Okay, one more hydrogen is there here. Okay, so this is cyanohydrin, and this is lactic acid. Okay, so by using the nucleophilic addition we can prepare lactic acid. Okay, next after nucleophilic addition, just check out free radical addition. Okay, before checking the free radical addition, let me discuss some small reaction. Okay, here I am taking propane in the presence of HBr. Okay, so this double bond can be shifted on to first carbon or second carbon. So for example, in this case, in the first case, I am shifting the electrons onto the first carbon. So here we will get negative charge, and this hydrogen will be attached here, so it will become CH3, positive charge on this carbon atom. And next, some other possibility will be like this: CH3, CH2, CH2 plus. Okay, so this is a secondary carbocation and primary carbocation. Secondary carbocation is more stable. Okay, now Br minus. Now try to understand negative part of the reagent, that is Br minus, is going to attach with the carbon that is having less hydrogens. So here what type of product we will get? So that rule is called as Markovnikov rule. Okay, negative charge, negative particle in the reagent that going and attaching with the carbon that is having less number of hydrogens. Okay, that is the Markovnikov rule. So here what is happening? Br minus is going to attach with the okay, so which will be measure? This will be the measure. Okay, that is about the Markovnikov rule. And next, so here let's check free radical addition. Okay, so here in this case, same alkenes we will take. Bromine in the presence of peroxide. So let's check out the mechanism. So here ROOR in the presence of light, that gives free radicals, and next this RO dot reacts with HBr, that gives ROH and bromine free radical. That bromine free radical will react with the substrate. Okay, now negative part of the reagent, sorry, here not Br2, here HBr. Negative part of the reagent that goes and attach with the carbon that is having less number of hydrogens, that is the Markovnikov rule. But here what happens? That attach with the carbon that is having more number of hydrogens. So this is the anti-Markovnikov rule, or you can say peroxide effect, or you can say peroxide effect. Okay, so here after this CH dot CH2Br that reacts with HBr, that gives RCH2Br. Okay, so here bromine that is attached with the carbon that is having more number of hydrogens, we can say this follows anti-Markovnikov rule. This follows anti-Markovnikov rule, or you can say peroxide effect. Okay, so here in this case no rearrangement will occur. In this case no rearrangement will occur, and this is only valid for HBr. This is only for HBr. Okay, if we are taking HCl, that Cl radical will attach at the carbon that is having less number of hydrogens. Okay, so first we have seen the basic difference between nucleophile and a base, and how the nucleophilicity varies according to different factors. And next, different types of addition reactions we have seen, like electrophilic addition, nucleophilic addition, and free radical addition. Okay, that's all in the today's class. Thanks for watching.